Welcome back, everyone, to the Exchange Zone podcast, brought to you by Berkshire Running Camp. And if you guys haven't gotten out for a run recently in this bodacious weather, get out there right now, or at some time of day that's convenient for you and is preferably light out. It's so nice out. Listen to Coach Marley's guided runs on Spotify. They're awesome. They'll lead you through some great workouts. Also, keep checking out the Instagram content. You got Coach Bartlett dropping knowledge on you guys in his classroom sessions. We got Tess and Liv Chilcott doing some dynamic warm-ups, some prehab exercises, and we also got Cody Moran showing off his water polo skills. Cody, I think you have a career ahead of you in the sport of water polo. And quite frankly, I am so proud to be sharing a surname with you because I know you're going to be doing great things in the sport. I just want to put that out there. That being said, we have already had two great guests this week. Thank you, New Balance, for setting us up with the athletes. And obviously, thank you to Andy Bouchard and Ellie Purrier for taking the time to talk with us. And both interviews were really, really awesome. It was really fun to talk to Ellie about her very exciting record-breaking mile this past winter, as well as what she's growing in her garden. And that was really exciting for me because my garden is finally starting to crumble. But you know, there's always the fall. And rounding out our three discussions with New Balance athletes this week is an athlete who came virtually last year to camp to speak with us and take questions. Brenda Martinez, she is a mid-distance specialist. She is an Olympic qualifier in the 1,500 meters for the 2016 games. She's an IAAF World Championship silver medalist in the 800 meters. And she was on a world record-breaking DMR team that competed right down the road from here at the Reggie Lewis Center at the New Balance Grand Prix. And those accolades just scratch the surface of the awesome stuff that Brenda's done. She has her own running camp that she hosts every summer. And we really dug into that, got some good discussion with Brenda. So once again, thank you, Brenda, for taking the time with us. And obviously, thank you, Team New Balance. All three of these interviews were so much fun, and we just feel so lucky to have been able to do this. So I hope you guys enjoy this talk with Brenda. It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to shut up, and you guys can just listen to this. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.
All right, cool.
So we're rolling. Yeah, thank you again for coming on. I guess just start out, like, how has this wild year been for you?
I think it's just different. I have like mixed feelings about it because last year I just had so much happen. I wasn't competing, and then I had my appendix taken out. So I think I had that sense of urgency just to get back in shape. So I kind of took my time with that, and in the fall I had just a really good buildup, and then things started to happen. And you know, I think at that point I just wasn't taking my fitness for granted or anything like that. And it was just hard not seeing my family, even though they live like an hour away and I haven't seen them since February. But I'd rather just have everyone be safe and, you know, just not take, again, like my attitude and my fitness for granted. So I always try to have a good attitude with that, even though things aren't, you know, things that I can't control aren't going great. But those are two things that I can definitely control. And I know I'm in a good place right now.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah. That's something that I think it's great for not only kids, but like all of us to get reminded of, you know?
Oh yeah.
And like no one's perfect. Like everyone struggles with that. Like you're going to have bad days. And,
Oh yeah. I'm not perfect. I promise you. I've had my days, but just know that tomorrow you can change it.
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow's a brand new start. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So I guess like what have you been able to do so far with running? I saw you hopped in a meet recently, right?
Yeah, I jumped into a Portland meet. The meet directors were nice enough to let me in. I think I was the only California athlete. So I was fit, and I was like, you know, I don't even know if races were going to come up. California's in a different stage. So yeah, there's races lined up right now. I can't say where they're at. I don't even know where they're at just yet, but yeah, I think it's nice that we can take precautions and race. I had to take 2 tests before each race. You have to get tested twice and have to obviously make sure you're negative and whatnot.
Yeah.
Take your temperature when you get to the meet.
Yeah.
And I've been good. I've been pretty good at staying safe and not going to the store. My husband goes to the store, and yeah, I'm just at home. But now it's like home and track, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So when you're at home, like you have like a track near where you live, or you able to? No, you don't?
No.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I live on a mountain. So we live at
Oh.
6,700 feet. So we're in Big Bear Lake. We have a dirt track, but I'm not trying to train on a dirt track. So
Yeah.
I've been doing the majority of my workouts on the roads, and
Mhm.
I have a 2-mile loop around the neighborhood, and I've been keeping it around that area. And I've probably been on the track probably like 5 times this whole year. And then the tracks finally closed completely, so I didn't have a track to train on for a little bit. And luckily, there's a track that's open in Southern California. There's no gate, so I can just jump on that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's about an hour away though.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
the most convenient.
Yeah.
It's nice. At least that meet in Portland opened up. Like,
Yeah.
just gotta hop on everything that's
Oh yeah.
that's opening. There's one in by us. We live in the Boston area, and there was one meet in Connecticut that
Yeah.
actually Ellie says she did that one, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
and it was just nice to have something. It obviously wasn't. I'm sure your meet was it like limited spectators and all
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. There was no spectators, but it just
No
feels good to just put your spikes on, your uniform, and
Yeah.
not necessarily chase a time, because the standard wouldn't even matter. But at least for me, it's just feeling great, like, to do that finally. And it's been 2 years since I've raced an 800, and I just want to get back to racing and get used to that feeling again. So I had fun. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll jump right into it, because it's kind of where my mind's taking me right now. But when in the is your camp usually a summer camp, or?
It's usually, I try to schedule it after nationals. I think the only time I pushed it further back was the Olympic year, because it was a really big year. But
Yeah.
because normally it's a down week for me anyways. So I just do the planning. And it's just through a writing contest, though. No kids are getting in trouble. There's no breaking eligibility rules and whatnot. So it's a form of a scholarship. And
Cool.
yeah, it's getting bigger and better. This is the 8th year that we're having it. Of course, it's going to be different because it's virtual, but
Yeah.
I'm going to still try to make the experience great this year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How many kids at this point participate?
I would say there's maybe over 350 letters this year.
Okay.
Usually it's more, because last year, or at least the years before, I've always announced it early. This year I kind of announced it a little bit late, and then I think I only gave them like maybe 6 weeks to write.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids that want to participate are going to participate. And I picked a girl that's written twice in a row, and I finally picked her. So I've had
Nice.
stories like that. I've had a girl write 3 times and
Yeah.
finally got chosen. So hopefully the kids can write again next year. That doesn't mean that your letter wasn't good. It's just I have a budget, and I have a certain number that I can only handle. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good.
I think it's so cool you do that. And I guess just because we didn't allow you to elaborate on what the camp is, kind of what the goals are. You give like a little pitch for it.
For me, it's more than just a running camp. Like, I think a lot of kids think that it's based on ability. So they think, oh, if I run this time, then she'll pick me. Or I just, it's not even about being a better runner for me. I want to know them as a person, and then just be better overall, like as a person, daughter, brother, sister. Yeah, running will take care of that as well. But I think the kids need something to look forward to, someone to look up to as well. And to be honest, I feel like I get more out of it. They probably don't believe that, but that's been my motivation, and giving back to the community, and just seeing their faces light up. Even just thinking about it, like, puts me in a good mood. I think more than ever, I think kids need something, and I think every kid should experience camp. So
yeah,
it's a good thing.
I wish I did. I totally agree with you about like, because Pat and I have been counselors at Berkshire Running Camp. Pat, how many years for you?
This will be my fifth year.
Fifth year.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
Yeah. And
I've been there since the beginning in 2013.
Eighth, right?
It's
so that's around the time I started mine too. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I actually did read that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if the kids like really understand it, how, like, obviously they're getting something out of it, but we're getting equal amount out of it. Like,
for sure.
It's just like being in a positive environment, a positive atmosphere. And I guess, just good vibes all around. It energizes you for the rest of your year. And I'm sure it sounds like
it does.
Yeah. It sounds like you can relate.
It just holds you accountable. You're like, I don't want to disappoint these kids, and I always try to, like, to be honest, I think they're the reason why I get up in the morning and want to have a good attitude, and even when things aren't going great. So the kids that this year, that they probably don't know, like, I love them so much, and like, I don't even know them, I haven't even seen them, but just getting to feel like who they are as a person, and the letters, and I mean, they didn't have to open up. Some of them didn't, but like, I appreciate that so much. And sometimes they just want someone to hear them out, and that was enough for me to kind of like get out the door, to be honest. So it feels good.
Yeah.
We have something at our camp called Evening Group. And so, I mean, most of the camp, a lot of it's set up by these student athletes. They have like their cabin, which is like their high school team, or towns that are near them. And then they have like their running group, which is male or female, but it'll be kids with time similar to them that they'll train with. But the evening group we do, it's actually like males and females, all of like different ages. And it's kind of like a step away from like the training of camp. And every night kind of has like a theme, kind of like each day of the week has a theme on something they can build on, like, character wise. And that's my favorite part of camp. Like it's more important than just like the running. Like, we're actually, even if they stop running, we're contributing to their growth as people. So
exactly.
I connect to you there on that.
I think, that's great. Like, at least giving them the tools to succeed. You want them to be able to at least believe in themselves. Sometimes it's even like, if one person believes in them, that's enough for them to kind of get out of that funk that they're in, probably, but like for us, we do our evening talks. We'll do injury prevention stuff. We'll do positive thinking, mental toughness, confidence. We'll brush up on like body image, because I think that's a big thing on the girls' side, especially, and just like health, anything health related. But I want these kids to realize, like, there's more to life than just running. Like, obviously my goal is to chase medals and make teams and stuff, but that's good. And I don't define my success that way. I really define my success as how many lives I can make an impact in. So I try to do what I can in those evening talks and get the most out of it. And it's nice to see the girls like write as many notes as they can. They're just trying to absorb it like sponges. And and it makes me feel good, essentially, and just want to be a better person. So
that's so great, Brenda. I don't, and I think you brought up a good point of like, there's more life than running, and there's more life than there's more to running than training as well. Like, and I think that's something that maybe, I think, just think back to when I was, just starting to run, like, it's all those things, like focusing on your nutrition, focusing on your, like, just like your mindset, and like taking care of kind of the whole package is stuff that is so important. And especially if you're new to the sport, that does not come naturally. Like, you don't, you're just trying to learn, like, what, how many laps is an 800, and it's easy to forget about stuff that's really going to kind of make or break you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So what's, right, your camp, it started as just a girls camp, but you now have a boys group in there as well, or?
Yes. So this is the first year. My husband kind of gave me the courage to change it up since it's just going to be virtual. And he's like, you should try getting the boys in. And I was like, all right. And then, I was surprised a lot of boys did write in. And it was nice. So we got a good bunch of boys. They're just great. They come all for different backgrounds, but just the way they came into running and how they experienced life is very encouraging. Maybe some of them need that gentle nudge, motivation. So that's why I brought them in, or I just got completely inspired by their letters. They were all great. So I think I've always been my girls, I have to do this for my girls. And now it's like, now I'm starting to realize I have to do it for the boys. And that's kind of my bad. Like I should have known. And, I think we always tell the boys like, oh, they're just naturally tougher. That's not the case. And I felt like that's kind of bad on my part thinking that way. And just going through the letters, I'm like, the boys need this. Like, I can't stop. Like it was bugging me and I felt really bad about it, especially thinking that sort of way. I don't know why, but now I'm like, okay, this is something I'm going to continue to do for our boys. And, if you guys are watching, please write again. You still have multiple chances to write in. So, so I definitely had to change up my talks a little bit, maybe change the way I had to speak to the boys and stuff, different from the girls. But it's going to be new and I'm going to learn so much, trial and error this year, and I'll try to make it better every single year.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to the give and take, like you're going to, that learning experience will be pretty good for you too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess like you're the perfect person to ask, especially like being at a camp that delves into a lot of, I guess like mental difficulties of runners, mindset and stuff like that. Can you, I guess, because we have a lot of like younger kids and campers listening to this, can you name like a time in your career, like a really difficult time where you faced a lot of adversity, and what it was like to kind of go through the process of maybe you were hitting a mental wall or something, or physical wall, and it was like really difficult for you to push through it, and how you managed to get out the other side?
I would say I was dealing with an injury since 2016, but thankfully I've been able to get on the line almost every single year. Maybe not 100%, but I was like, I can still show fitness and whatnot. But 2018, my injury was starting to get a little bit more worse. It was my Achilles, and last year was the year that really tested me. And I'm not gonna lie, like I lost a lot of my confidence because I wasn't racing. It got to the point where I wasn't even finishing workouts, and I just thought like I'm being mentally weak, but it's really, I was really struggling. My body's not tricking my mind or anything like that. And it wasn't until I was like forcing it and I wasn't having fun that everything just went wrong. It was like Murphy's third law. Like when, something goes wrong, everything goes wrong. So I remember going to Phoenix for like 6 weeks to go see John Ball. He's a really good therapist. And it was like 115 out there. I was training and struggling. I remember we were a month out before nationals, and I had only run one indoor race, and that was my qualifying mark for outdoors. And I remember coming back home and just like stressing out. I wasn't having fun, like getting out the door. I was just in a bad spot. And I think, I don't know what it was, if it was like divine intervention, but I'm really glad my appendix was acting up and I had to get surgery, because that literally, I know it sounds crazy. You probably think you probably think I'm like crazy, but it forced me to stop. So, and I think that was just like the sign to say, there's nothing you can do now. Like you have to rest your body and your mind. And to be honest, that was like the best thing ever for me. So I think when you're not having fun, and it's stressing you out and it's bringing you more harm than joy, then it's okay to step back and just reassess things, take care of what you need to take care of before you even become an athlete. I think a lot of kids need to realize, like, you're probably not going to get nowhere fast if you're being negative or being unkind to yourself. So again, I'm a pro and I deal with it too. You know, we have to battle it through, and we feel the same thing. So I always encourage athletes, you know, just take a step back, learn from my mistakes. Hopefully I can shave years off the learning curve for you. And yeah, that was just a really bad, a bad situation, but I came out of it, and now I'm the fittest I've ever been. Obviously there's not many races, but I'm not taking that for granted. And now I feel like I'm in a good place mentally because I had to take that huge step back. So it was a good thing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And we've talked about this before, even with our other two guests. Like, there's something to be said about taking a step back. And with this pandemic, everyone has kind of been forced to do that.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to attitude too. Like, you have to, if you appreciate it as an opportunity to like chill out, rest your body, you know, get your mind in a good headspace, that's big. But then if you treat it, your attitude is like, well, I'm going to fall so far behind, or whatever it is, like, that's
I think if you look at it right now, it's like, you know, you can actually act like you're a professional athlete, you know, resting at home and doing the homework, you know, when you have to. And it's just the way you look at it, to be honest.
Right.
So don't make it hard on yourself, and you don't need to add more to the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course it's mindset.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. It was interesting because our first guest of the week, Andy, he was so kind of like, had like a really kind of similar approach that you have. He was kind of like, if I'm not having fun, then, you know, like, one. And it's like, I always like to think like no one's forcing me to do it at this point. Like,
exactly.
You know, I guess if you're on a college team or a high school team, you kind of have an obligation to an extent, but I mean, you're getting out the door because you want to. It's like, it doesn't have to be a kind of,
exactly.
Yeah.
There's always ways around it.
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah. And probably even, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but as like a professional athlete with Team New Balance, like, you do it, it's your career, but you're in that career because you love it.
Yeah.
And it seems like you have fun running. Yeah. So there's an obligation, but I mean, I think anyone can think about it, like, in whatever they're doing, like their job or whatever. It's like, it's like, oh, I'm going to work. Like, I have to do it, you know?
Oh yeah.
You don't have to do it. Like, you do it because you know, got to put bread on the table, but you know, there are you can adapt, like, you can do something else, but if you're in something, it's good to love it as well.
Yeah. And again, like, there is going to be times where you're going to be tested and you're not going to have fun. And, you just have to work around it, at least get through that and take it as a speed bump and not so much a barrier. And, it's definitely hard. I think a lot of times when you want to get ahead, you definitely have to be uncomfortable most of the time, you know, and I've realized that as a pro. And I never thought once, I want to quit running or anything like that. Even when things were going bad, I was just like, you know what, let me work through my issues, and running will be there waiting for me, you know, and I'm still young enough to compete, and I just won't take that for granted. So a lot of it's attitude and me just feeling grateful that I have my health back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm glad you're healthy too.
Yeah.
It stinks. Yeah, I guess the other bit of adversity was the Olympics being canceled. Like, when you first realized there weren't going to be trials, there wasn't going to be an Olympics, like, how was that initially for you?
I think at first I was like, well, there's nothing we can do. Like, it's obviously out of our control, and things got worse, but I'm okay staying at home training. In the meantime, it's just me building up a bigger foundation for next year, hopefully. And luckily there's races lined up for me. Maybe the season will extend another month for me, but I don't, it's just weird. Like, I really don't know how to feel about it. But again, priority is people are safe, and I'm not even thinking about getting on a plane right now.
So,
good call. If it's good to go next year, then it's cool. So Yeah, I'm just indifferent. I feel like it's
Right.
really hard to say.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just reality.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I guess is a good attitude to have. That's it's the biggest uncontrollable ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is what it is, and
Yeah.
hopefully something next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Another thing we focus on at camp is the element of like a team environment. Like Pat said, there's a lot of teams at camp that go together. You'll have like maybe 10 to 15 kids all from one high school in a cabin, and
Cool.
it's kind of a good opportunity for kids to bond with their team, but also branch out to like meet other people from other teams too. So that being said, I think it'd be cool. Like, could you talk a little bit about some like close teams or really good team?
Was literally thinking about the same exact
Sorry,
thing.
Pat.
And then you picked up.
You want to finish my sentence?
I was going to ask that. I was thinking. I was like, man, we've had 2 pros on this week. We haven't asked about the teammates, but
yeah, I wish we did with Ellie. That was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, some teammates you've had who have stood out to you or helped you along in your career.
I think all of New Balance, like not even just the runners, like I can actually call my boss, John Evans or Tom Carleo, or they just call me or text me. Like, I don't know of any other company that can do that, and
they're always trying
to so they make me feel like family, and I love that approach. It just feels like a community to me, and I love that. I don't feel like I'm just a number out there and or walking advertisement, but I'm grateful for that relationship with New Balance, and I've been with them for 10 years, and so consistent. Even when I had my stuff going on last year, Tom and John were like, just take a step back. Don't even think about running. Like, do not run like anytime soon, So I just feel like they have my back, and the athletes are so inspiring as well. They're super selective on who they pick up, and I feel like my values align with New Balance as well. And just having that team community is so big for me, and you build relationships that work that way, and network and all that. And but then when it comes to high school kids, I feel like that's so important. I feel like if you want to have a good, strong team, like there has to be team community where you guys get along, where you guys pick each other up. Everyone brings a good attitude. You have to protect what you have. And I feel like that's why a lot of programs are successful, is because they focus on that before the running. They have to make sure everyone's on the right page before you even do workouts or before you even get on the bus. So if coaches can just find a way to structure it where kids know when they come to a team, this is something that's so important and we value it and you're part of it, you belong. So let's protect that, and not let anyone take that away from us. I think that's super important. So kids probably don't realize that. They just think, oh, I'm going to the team, but it's more than that if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the sneakiest team sport of all time.
Yeah.
It's so individualized, but the team is so important.
It is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely. Brenda, is there kind of like a favorite memory as a runner that sticks out to you, like a race where you really you did everything to a T, and you kind of it doesn't even have to be that, just a favorite memory of a race where it can be an okay race, a good race, a bad race, but kind of just like a race that kind of shaped who you are as a competitor.
I mean, probably the Olympic trials. I think that was probably like the hardest thing I've ever done in my career, and I think that defining moment was something that taught me, like, that's a woman I want to be consistently, especially when things aren't going right and something that's out of my control, and the kids that don't know, like, I got tripped in my specialty event, the 800, and luckily I had already signed up for the 1500. So to do 6 races in 10 days and make the Olympic team was like hard. Like, thinking about it, it's for Team USA. It's not like they're easy teams to make. They're not. But the whole time I remember thinking, there's a lot of little kids looking up to me right now. And that's why I didn't react after the trip. I didn't blame anyone. I wasn't I was crying in the interviews, but I was like, because my camp was like the following week and a half or so. And I was like, my girls can't see me in a bad place like that. I'm not going to let that happen. I was like, I know what it's like to feel sorry for myself, and I know it doesn't get me anywhere. So why am I going to, you know, showcase that in my interviews and, you know, be the person I don't want to be, you know? So, again, that taught me how to like respond more than just react. And I feel like I always ask myself that question. Don't react. So yeah, and I just try to handle as best as I could, and I feel like I did. And it paid off. You know, my attitude paid off. It was everything that I was putting in my head, telling myself, and I did think a negative thought. I'd be like, Brenda, stop. Like, it's not worth it. Like, you're better than that. I would literally tell myself that if I had a negative thought. And luckily I had my coaches, my husband to carry me through, my girls camp, my sponsors, and yeah, I just take it one day at a time. And, you know, come the final day, I was just like, stay out of trouble and just pick body to the last lap.
Yeah.
Stay on your feet, of course. So
to
make the team by 0.03, it's, you know, a hair.
I remember seeing those trials, Brenda, and like, and especially when you didn't make it in 8, like, it was like, I remember thinking like that was just like the grittiest, like, I don't know, like, I don't know. That was like the highlight of the trials for me, was seeing you just like bust out that 1500 and just barely make it in. Like, oh man.
But it was weird, because even looking back on it, I think that was probably like, you probably think I'm crazy. It was a good thing that it happened, because I think it got a lot of people to believe in themselves and be like, well, Brenda did it. Like, this is how she did it, you know? And I remember getting tons of messages from people I didn't even know, from like Germany or like all over the place. And I remember getting one letter from someone, and they're like, you motivated me to run, and I haven't ran in years.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what the mark left. So it was a good thing, even though it was hell for me.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was, I think about the Olympics, and obviously that was prior to the Olympics, but I lump it in, like, two like most exciting or like inspiring races was you, I got super pumped for, and then Abby D'Agostino's race.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Like,
she was my roommate at the Olympics. So.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. I remember I didn't want to go into the room, and I was like, oh man, she's probably like crushed, and like, I don't want to go in there and like bother her.
This is after the race.
Yeah, this is after the race.
Okay. Yeah.
And I came in, I poked my head in, and she's like, hi, all happy. And she had her Bible out, and I was like, Abby, are you okay? And she's like, yes, like, it was great. And like, I helped someone. And I was like, oh, okay, good. So,
wow.
I was crying when I saw it. I started crying, and I was like, oh my God, like, poor Abby. But yeah, she was a good sport about it. And she was happy when I walked in the room, which surprisingly. So
yeah,
Abby's like that. She's a good person. She has a really good heart.
Yeah. You can tell by it's just what she did.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's all you need.
To run another, like, I think another 2K or a mile like that, it was insane.
She still ran great, considering like she had it was her ACL.
Yeah.
No, yeah. ACL,
it was. I think it was more than that. I think it was like another 2 things. I think.
Yeah.
It was a really nasty injury.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And talk about, like, you know, making the best of you know, difficult situation. It's like,
in the moment, it's really hard to think positive, obviously.
Yeah.
But even again, it's about what's your next move? Like, are you gonna react in a bad way, or are you gonna respond? Even though there's very little thinking to that. But yeah, I always try to practice that, like, everything that you do. It's not even just about running, it's about life. And I felt like that approach has, you know, made me have these leaps and bounds and have some success. So I try to be consistent with that. And again, I do have hard times with it. You know, I have days where I'm like, I didn't like that day, you know, but tomorrow's a different day. And hopefully I can keep modeling that, and maybe kids can learn from that as well.
Yeah.
Even adults, but yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had go ahead, Pat.
I was going to say, I think I've mentioned him on this podcast before, but there's this really, really good author named Mark Manson. He wrote, his most famous book is the Subtle Art of Not Giving a you know what, but it's
I have it. Yeah.
Okay. Incredible book.
Yes.
But he has a really good Instagram out there for anyone who's kind of looking for a little extra motivation. One of the things he's one thing he said that really resonated with me, which I think relates to running, is he had a post and said, kind of like a mindset thing, how can I make this moment the greatest moment that's ever happened to me? And that's something I've started to think, like, if I'm at work and I'm like, I do not want to be here right now, I'll think, or stuck in traffic or something, I'll think, oh, how could I make this the best moment that's ever happened to me? That's kind of like exactly what Abby probably did.
Reminding,
And it's just kind of an awesome thing to think of. And it's like, if she can turn that into what she turned that into, you know, like bumps in the road are just, you know, not even they fly in comparison to that. So
yeah, it's hard to think that way too. You know, like you said, like, for example, like, we can complain about traffic. Why not change your mindset to, that gives me time to finish my podcast, or, you know, things like that. And it takes a lot of practice. It's not easy. And that's something you always have to improve on and do every single day. It's like running. It takes practice to be better at it. So, yeah, that's a really good book, actually. So I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Let's check that out.
Yeah.
That's like my go-to, one of my go-to questions on here when we have guests, because I find, like, really successful, interesting people usually have, like, they're usually readers, and they have, like, books that, so are there any, like, books out there, Brenda, that you've read that have kind of, like, left an impact on you as, like, just a person or to your personal growth?
Yeah. So the book there's a few books. So I'm actually giving 4 books to each of my campers. I usually just give 2, but this year I went all out, and they're getting 4. So of course my coach, he just came out with his book. One of his former runners wrote it. His name is Pat McGarris. So there's a part that I did for the chapter, and it's just accounts of, like, all of his runners and, like, these special events that happened during his career. You know, he's had over 22 Olympians. You know, and he's been coaching for over 50 years. And it shows, like, just the type of person he is, how he gets up in the morning, and just his attitude and the way he talks to us. So he's the reason why I'm in this place, and he's the reason why I have my girls camp. Like, he actually gave me the idea.
Oh, wow.
So just working with him is incredible. So I'm really excited for the kids to get that book. They're getting The Mindset by Carol Dweck. That's a really good one. It's a simple read, but it's just straight to the point. They're getting,
I think Marley, one of our, I think that's the same book that Marley, one of she's one of the running directors at camp. She coaches at Westfield State in Massachusetts. She actually gives that to her athletes as well. So
yeah,
the mindset book.
Yeah, and it's good because it goes, I mean, they touch upon sport, but it's more like life, career, and all that as well. Yeah, that's probably, like, one of the top ones I really like. And there's times where I have to go back and read that golden nugget chapter that made an impression on me, you know, so I need reminding as well. The other one is Sean Acor, The Happiness Advantage. That one's just pretty much, you have to let everything revolve around your happiness, and that has to be number one. You know, you have to make sure you're having fun with everything. So that was a really good one. That's a simple read as well. And the last one is Todd Herman, The Alter Ego. So that one's more like psychological, and it's it's like positive. To me, it's positive psychology, just because there are times where you might not believe in yourself, but you can turn into someone else just for that moment to get through something. And he works with a lot of athletes, and it's just crazy. You can trick your mind into doing things, and it's really good. So if you want to get that mental edge, I think that's the book as well. It just teaches you, like, you almost got to turn into a monster, you know, and even though maybe you might be the most, like, quiet person, shy, but, you know, you can turn into that person for that moment to get you through that tough spot. So that's a really good read. Yeah. So all those kids are going to get those.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the recommendations. I'll definitely so we usually post this for this week. It's on Instagram, but it'll be on Spotify, and then I'll post like links to all those books
cool.
so people can have kind of resources. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
Nice. You well, speaking of like
Ryan, that's kind of you, right?
What?
That's kind of like you. Ryan was a couple years ahead of me. We were high school teammates, and Ryan, you were always kind of like the lead by example captain. Like I would never.
Dude, I wore basketball shorts every day to practice. Like,
but Ryan, you were kind of quiet. Definitely the most quiet one. But like when it was time to race, like just game face and that's kind of like you in a nutshell.
I think though, okay, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. But I think, yeah, I agree. Like I was a game face type guy, but I wish that I was like had more fun with it. I think I didn't really find that balance well, especially in college. Like I would burn myself out. Like I was so focused on like competing that I don't think I raced smart, kind of thing. Like I would just like get so worked up about the first half of a race, and then most of the time not. Like I think I kicked once in my career.
Yeah. Oh man. But you're like, when you're in high school, you know, you're thinking about times and you're almost thinking about the result more than anything, and not so much the process. Right. But as long as you learn, you know, along the way, you're good.
Yeah, I guess that's interesting. Like thinking just like race mindset, like, and maybe you can share yours. It's probably dependent on what the race is, but the difference between just like straight competing, like racing to win, and racing for a time. Because you're probably, you're in situations where you might have to hit a qualifying standard, and then obviously once you're, you know, at the Olympics, it's about, or at the Olympic trials, it's about beating someone. Like it doesn't matter how
racing smart,
time goes. Yeah. So, you have any words of wisdom about that? Maybe for like a younger kid.
You know, every race is going to be different. So just having a race plan in the back of your mind. Again, there's nothing you can do about the result, you know, so why even think about it? It's hard, obviously, you know, sometimes I do, but, just think about what you can control in training every single day. Like I don't even try to think about tomorrow. Like I have a workout tomorrow, so I'll prepare my stuff tonight for tomorrow, but I'm not even really thinking about it. So I'm just doing what I can today, you know, eating right. I literally took a 2-hour nap before this. And I had like 30 minutes to get ready. So, those are things that I can control. I can get in the hyperbaric chamber, you know, upstairs, and I still have to go for my second run. I can eat a good dinner tonight, plan it out where I know it's going to be fuel for tomorrow. Those are things that I just try to take care of, you know, every task to every task. But I try not to get too ahead of myself. And even when in a race, I think about my warm up more than anything. I just try to feel good, and you know, I do my prehab, and I try not to think about the race until the gun goes off. Yeah.
Do you think, it sounds like though you have a lot of good like routines and habits that are just second nature at this point?
Yeah.
Did it take you like the process of getting into those habits initially? And I don't know.
Yes, it's hard. It's hard holding yourself accountable. I'll actually show, hopefully my laptop doesn't mess up, but I actually have I have this on the wall. It's a really big craft paper. So awesome. On the top, it says, "My happiness depends on sticking to a schedule that will allow me to feel productive. No negotiating." So, and I have like these time slots. I try to stick to it. So like 6:30, I wake up, I have my coffee, my prehab, I'll be out the door by 8 something, work out, breakfast by 10:30 or so, get my nap in or go in the chamber, have my lunch, do my second run, dinner, and then bedtime, hopefully by 9. That's a really hard one for me, but I think visually seeing something, it's not like it's marked out like every hour. I think I drive myself insane, but at least having something to visually look at and pass by every single day, it holds me accountable. Like, whoa, I have like half an hour to do this, and I'll just try to get to it and not just thinking about it. So put it into action, So, I need reminding. I need to put something where I can see it. So hopefully that can help someone.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel great. And I think just for anyone, you feel better about yourself when you know you're being productive. So for me, that means I have to get up early. So 6:30 is the time that I do get up. And I would just feel like I have so much time during the day that I'm like, all right, I'll just nap, an extra hour. So it makes me feel good about myself. So yeah.
Yes, especially now. You said you're just in your house and like around your house most of the time.
Yeah.
It's not like you gotta. I guess like my problem that I always have with, because I've definitely tried writing stuff down, like planning out my days, but sometimes you have days where you have a family thing you got to go to, or something that kind of throws a wrench in the operation. But so then there's like an anxiety to that. It's like, oh well, the whole thing just got screwed up. Have you had to deal with that kind of stuff, and how do you like adapt?
Sometimes I'll adapt, but sometimes you have to say no. It's okay to say no sometimes, but that's why I have to plan everything out. If I want to see my family, I have to make sure that I get my run in, maybe get my second run in. I try to plan it where I would usually do my long run and then nap and not have to run in the evening. And then I get to do whatever I want in the evening. So a lot of times I'll just, well, not lately, but I would go see my family and we'd go have a barbecue. So it's just about planning and prioritizing. And, but yeah, sometimes you're going to have to do things and it's going to throw off your schedule. But if it's like here and there, I think it's fine. But if it's a lot of times, then I think you'll be in trouble. But it's okay to say no. Yeah.
Kind of going off of that, just, with kind of the, I guess, kind of boredom of quarantine or not being able to do the things you usually do. And just, I know me, for example, and I'm sure like all our campers are doing like the same couple runs like over and over. I guess like kind of going off of like the schedule and then training, like how do you keep things fun and keep things spontaneous with with your daily life and training without kind of taking a break from that pressure a bit?
Find a hobby. I think, I don't know, everyone's going to be into something. For me, it's woodworking. So I do like projects around the house.
Cool.
Yeah. So my dad passed down a lot of his tools to me. So I have like a table saw, miter saw. I have like all sorts of tools. So I've just been doing stuff around the house that I never really would get to. Normally I'd just probably pay someone to do it, but now I'm like, I'll just do it myself. I have the stuff. So that's been keeping me busy. I've been doing stuff on the outside, and I did my free little library out front. So I'm always putting books in there. So a lot of my library is like gone, but people have been putting books in and stuff like that. So just find a hobby, something that's going to force you to be patient. I think when you can take your time with something, it challenges you in a good way. It can be anything. Like drawing, I don't know, like kids are into certain things, you have to find out what brings you joy, and just try to put time for that for yourself. It's okay to take care of yourself that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such a fun hobby.
Yeah, it's scary at first, but it's fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you just pick it up during this quarantine, or did your dad just give you this stuff, or
I've had the tools, I just never had the time to do it. Just because I would travel and I knew I had like a big workout, so I couldn't be outside too much. So I do still limit my time. I almost have to earn it to go outside. No, I've had the tool since like, he's probably been handing it to me since like 2013, 2014. And now I have a garage. We moved into a different house. So now we have a garage and it's just piling in. And it's been fun. So it's a learning experience for me. And I look up a lot of YouTube videos because I don't want to saw my hand off. So I'm getting better.
I saw a cool one of I've always wanted to build. I have zero woodworking skills, but I was just I saw a video of a guy building a canoe.
Oh wow!
That's so cool.
Yeah, so, and I'm sure he didn't start out that way, of course. You just got to get yourself in there and practice. No.
What's the next project? Woodworking project?
Okay, I probably shouldn't say. I mean, it's okay. I'm actually gonna build a craft paper board for my campers, and I'm gonna write their names on the wood.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
I'm almost done with 9 more to go, but my husband's gonna help me with that. We already bought the wood and all that, so
Awesome.
hopefully give them something to
Yeah.
to write on and write their goals and stuff like that. So
Maybe
that's awesome.
that's something we can get Miller to do next year.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Get Miller into woodworking.
I know it's good to have something. We had a counselor as a guest speaker last year, Zach Prescott. He was talking about the importance of just having another outlet from running. If you are really passionate about running, doesn't matter how passionate you are, you can't do it. You can't do it and think about it 100% of your day.
Because you can get in your head easily.
Yeah.
So it's good to just kind of step back from that. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
Oh, nice. I remember you showing your dogs last year at camp.
Yeah.
Like,
4. Yeah, we have
nuts.
4.
Yeah. You have more?
Yeah, we have 4 little dogs.
I think you only had 2, maybe you had 3. I can't remember how many you had last year at this time.
No, we've had 4 for the past 4 or 5 years or so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Yeah. I think one was just like away from the video, but.
Yeah. They're all little dogs, right?
Yeah, they're all under like 15 pounds. They're all little.
Do your dogs run with you?
No, they're too little.
They would have to run so fast to keep up relative to their body size.
Yeah, we just have a basket in the back of the bike, and they just join us that way, and we just alternate them, take them out of the basket.
Oh,
so,
nice.
they can't run.
Yeah.
I've been considering, just a side note, I've been considering, I'm moving in a week and a half, and I've been considering like starting up, it's kind of like a more populated neighborhood, and I've been considering starting like a dog running, like kind of side hustle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a dog?
No, just like running people's dogs. So
I see.
There's all the WAG apps and stuff. So maybe just being like, hey, I'm going to run your dog. Like it's
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But maybe someday it'll be big enough where you can run your dogs.
Yeah.
That'll take off for sure.
Yeah. Only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Matter of mindset.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Time to bet. All right, Brenda, we're almost at an hour. So this has been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. It's been really, really great. Just, do you have any, I guess this is the opportunity to have any clues and thoughts, also say where people can follow you. I
mean, like you can follow me, my journey, and I try to post as much as I can on Instagram. So it's at BMartRun. Just try to keep a positive mindset, read, look up things, find the answers that you need, and just try to better yourself every single day. There's always room for improvement. So, just keep it simple. Don't overthink anything, and just better yourself. Yeah.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
That was great.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Brenda. Stay safe.
Cool. Thank you.
And
You too.
Good luck with your year ahead, and all your woodworking projects.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries.
You guys have a good one.
For doing
Yeah,
this.
have a good one, Brenda.
All right. Bye.
Bye.